In this video, I will show you the corresponding example of accumulated value which was written in VBA and now in VB.NET, and you can see the code is very much similar. The syntax may be a little bit different, but the logic is kind of very much similar. On the top, you see the declaration of the variables at the module level. So you have the variables for interest type, interest rate, accumulated value, and present value, and also the number of years. And you have a variable, namely var answer. So everything here is written in a module, namely module 1, and in the module there is a sub-procedure, namely main, and this sub-procedure calls to another, namely accumulated value, and the sub-procedure accumulated value is here, right? And basically you have several do loop structures, and in each do loop structure you loop and you ask the user to type in the variable as the input. For example, you ask the user to type in the interest rate and store the interest rate in var answer, and loop again and again until the user really type in the numeric value, and store the answer to the variable for interest rate, which is DBL interest rate. DBL stands for double, the type of the data, and here we use CDBL to cast the type of the data to double if it's not double. So you do the same thing for other variables such as present value, such as the number of years, and then finally ask the user to type in S or C. If S, then the user want to compute the simple interest. Otherwise, if it is C, then it's going to be compound interest. Then comes the if else structure. Basically, if the user type in S, either lowercase or uppercase, then you're going to say you're going to compute the simple interest, compute accumulated value following the simple interest rate, and store the result in the variable DBL ACC value, which stores the value for accumulated value. And because the user may type S in lowercase or uppercase, so you will compare by first call to the method to convert the data to the string data type, and then convert the string to lowercase, so that you compare lowercase to lowercase, right? So you compare the interest type to lowercase s to see if the user want to compute the simple interest rate, compute the accumulated value following the simple interest rate formula. So the same thing you see here, right? You convert the interest type to string and then lowercase, and then compare with lowercase c to see if the user want the compound interest, and if it is, then compute the accumulated value following the compound interest rate formula. and otherwise display the message box saying wrong selection, and at the end display the accumulated value. The existence of sub here is for avoiding display the message box of the result if this is already typed the wrong selection. And if you don't have the box here, then after saying wrong selection, the code will run this line and will show something weird, and you don't want that to happen. So sub right from here, and after this it will jump to this line and avoid that line. Now let's see how the example runs. You run the example, and when it asks for the interest rate, let's type in 1% and then click OK, and then type in 100 for $100, and then the number of years, type in 10 for 10 years, and click OK. And here you want to type in C for compound, and then it says the accumulated value is 110 something. Okay, in this example I will show you the very simple application with forms and controls in VB.NET, and this is very similar as the one you saw previously in VBA. So you have a form, and on the title of the form you see sample application, and right click on the form, or you can just press F4, then it shows you the properties window, and you look at properties of the elements on the form. And for example, you look at the text the text property, and you see the value is sample application, and it is actually the title of the form that you see here. And later on you have a text box there and there, and two labels there and there. You look at the property of the label, and you see the property text has a value name, and the property age has a value age. The property text of the label age has a value age. Okay. Then also look at the name of the two text box. One of the text boxes is txt name, and you click the text box and then look at the properties window, and you look at the name property here, and the name of the text box is txt name. So normally I use the prefix txt to say this is a text box, and lbl to say this is a label. So this is txt name, and that is txt age. And also I have two buttons. Also you look at the name property, you see the name of the first button is btn clear, and the name of the second button is btn exits. and normally I use the three letter prefix btn for button. And if you want to design the form differently, putting more elements, and you can go to toolbox and look at other controls on toolbox. There are many, and you can design the form as you like. So the application is very simple. I start writing because I have the code written already, but if I start writing the code, then I would double click the control that I want to write code for. For example, for the button clear, I double click it, and it will show me the template with private sub and then the name of the procedure, and it ends with end sub, and then I start writing code in between. So here you can see it means this sub procedure handles the click event of the button btn clear. So when the click event occurs, meaning the user clicks the button, then run this sub procedure. Right? So inside the sub procedure, you assign the text property of the control txt name to an empty string, and do the same thing for txth, meaning you clear everything. You clear the content of the two text boxes. And if the user click the button exit, then the click event of the btn exit occurs, and then run this procedure and this sub procedure. And in the sub procedure, there is only one statement, end, to end the application. Okay, so I'm going to run the application and type in the name, for example, John Doe, and then the age, let's say 12, and then I click the clear button to clear the content. All the content is cleared, and then click exit to exit the program. Okay, in this example, I will show you how to run the example interest converter. So on the form, the text property of the form is interest converter, so that allows you to specify the title on the form. And you have two combo boxes. The one on the left is named CBO pfreq, and the one on the right is named CBO mfreq, with different frequencies. And you have two text boxes for the nominal interest, and the one on the left is named txt pfreq, and the one on the right is named txt mfreq, and the button namely btn convert. So notice that an application may have one form or even more than one form. If you want to add more forms to it, then right click on the solution and say add, and in here you can add You can add many things. You can add a form or module and set a class. Okay, let's look at the code. On top you see import system.math. It is because later on we use some method in the namespace system.math. So we later on we use POW, the POW method. If we don't use this, we don't have the import line. Then later on we have to say the whole thing. Instead of POW, we have to say system.math.pow. Okay, in the load event of MyBase, and we have a number of lines for adding items to the two combo boxes. So in order to add an item to the items collection, we use the add method. So let's say, for example, with CBO pfreq dot items, we call the add and give it 1 to add the value of 1 to the items collection of the combo box CBO pfreq. So on the left we have CBO pfreq, and on the right we have CBO mfreq, and we do the same thing for two combo boxes, and we add different values, namely 1, 2, 4, and 12, to specify the different frequencies for P and M. And we say the selected index of the combo box on the left is 0, meaning the selected item is the first item, and do the same thing for the second one. And when the form is load, form1 underscore load would run, and all the items are added to the two combo boxes. And then when the button convert is clicked, then the converted value is computed and stored into the text property of the text box on the right. Okay, let's see how we run this application. So let's say we set P to 2 and M to 4, and the on the text box on the left we say, let's say 1%, and click convert, and this is a corresponding converted nominal interest, which is computed for the text box on the right. Okay, in this video I will show you how to run the application bond calculator. In this application we have one form, and on the form I have a tab control, and the tab control is named tab bond, right? So actually you can select a tab select a tab control and look at the properties window, and here you look at the name property and it says tab bond, and I have two tabs. And they are two tab page object, So select the first one and look at the name property. It says TPG calculation, and select the second one and look at the name property. It says TPG result. The result is shown on the second page, and the calculation is shown on the first page. On the first tab page, I designed this way with a number of label controls and a number of text boxes, and also a combo box, and this is a numeric up-down control. And I also have a checkbox and a button to compute the bond value. And if I check the checkbox show result page, then when I click compute, then it automatically open the second tab page for me and show the result as one item in the list box. So this is a list box, and I can also go through the items in the list box and click remove to remove the selected item or all the item, depending on the which radio button is selected here. The first radio button is RBN selected, and the second is all. Okay, so let's look at the code a little bit. So on the top I have a number of variables for face value, for coupon rate, for yield rate, redemption value, payments per year, bond price, and year num. And in the load event form, I want to add all the values that I need to the combo box to say what would be the number of payments per year, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 4 or 12. Also, I want to select the second item. So this is 0 base. 1 means the second item, and the number of year, the numeric up down is set to 10, and the mean is 0, and the max is 30. And decimal places is set to 2, and the increment is set to 0.5. So each time you click up or down, then the increment would be 0.5 on the top or below the current value. When you click the button to compute the bond value, then basically you need to grab the values on the text boxes for face value, for coupon rate, for redemption value, and also yield rate, payments per year, so the payment per year is actually from the combo box. So you call the use the selected item property. Okay, and then down here you get the number of year. And then you compute the bond price using the Frank formula. And once you have the bond price, add that price to the items collection of the list box, ls the result by calling the add method. And you won't just add the bond price, you add the whole string containing something saying like the face is this, the rate is this, and payable how many times per year, etc., and then price at the bond price that you have just computed. And if you check if the checkbox show result page is checked, so if it is checked, then the checked property returns true. Then you automatically switch to the second tab page. You set the selected index to 1 because it is 0 base. So the first tab page has the index of 0 and the second has index of 1. So this would show you the second tab page. So you can see in many sub-procedure, see the sub-procedure check numeric, right? And then in check numeric you see some lines, basically if the key char is not numeric or not the backspace or not the dot, then set the key char to an empty string. So by doing this, you are not allow letters or such things to go in there. And if the user select some items in a list box, then if the radio button RBN selected is checked, then the property checked returns true. Then you check the next condition. So if the user really selected some items on the list box, then the selected index property returns something different than a -1. Then you can remove the items. So you call the remove add method of the items collection of the list box, remove which item? Remove the selected index, the item specified by the selected index property. And if the user select the radio button all, then what you do here is just clear everything in the items collection, and otherwise you display a message saying you haven't selected any. Okay, here I show you the running application. You just need to fill in the values for face value, coupon rate, payable per year, yield rate, redemption value, number of years, and click compute and switch to the other tab, and it shows each computed bond value on one item of the list box, and you want to delete one of them, let's say the first one, then select one of the two radio buttons and then click remove, or even you can remove or clear everything.